Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Hey, hello, mate.
Hey, we're in. Lovely stuff.
All right.
Good. Yeah, I'm very well. May I just check? Always check your tools. Have you got your beer?
Oh.
Come on.
Hey, I'm better prepared this time. There we go.
Mine's open, mate. No wasted time. Cheers.
As if that's your first one.
Now you may say it may not be my first one. It is my first one, but however, it's my first alcohol-free beer.
I'm sorry, what?
I know. I knew that would be your reaction. I knew you'd go, "What the hell is he doing?" But I've had news of the week. I've had my jab. Yes.
You've had a little prick.
I've been just gossip. I've been AstraZeneca, mate. Yeah, I am now waiting for my.
Inoculized or whatever the word is.
Yeah, vaccinated, vax pricks. You call it what you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you say, why are you drinking alcohol-free beer? It's apparently, this is maybe true, maybe just urban myth, maybe just me going, but apparently you're not supposed to drink, or is advised, don't drink for a couple of weeks because alcohol affects your immunity system. So me going, I want to be as vaccinated as possible, I'm not drinking real alcohol.
Do you think that's what the anti-vaxxers' actual issue is? It's nothing about Bill Gates putting a chip in your brain and tracking you. They just want to drink.
Yeah, well,
Solved
I kind of see their point, but no, I mean, apparently that is that. So there we go. Alcohol free. I'm hiding the label.
Oh well, yeah, absolutely. The sponsorship not available as yet.
Not bad, actually.
No, do you know what? I have to say, I've partaken in a few non-alcoholics in my time, and they're some of them aren't too shabby. Some of them I'd rather drink canal water, I think. But anyway,
I think so. Anyway, that aside, I've had me jab. That's me. That was my sort of big-ish news of the week. So
cool. And what about work-wise? Hit me with it. What have you been up to?
Where are we? Yeah. Earlier in the week, I was supporting the wife, helping my wife does a fortnightly Zoom show or sometimes Facebook Live show with 3 children's shows during the day, 3 half-hour children's shows. With her,
for anyone watching that doesn't know your wife, she's an actor as well, performer.
She's an actor. She's a performer, singer, and developed a thing with very, very, very quickly. Developed a thing with balloons. A few years ago. That's not nothing kinky. She does balloon modeling, but it came out really wrong. She's got this thing for balloons. No, she did idea music, cabaret. She does a lot of jazz singing. She's a fabulous jazz singer. But she said, I want to get kids involved in music, etc. She found that she had a knack for balloon modeling. And just leave it.
I left that one. Yeah.
So she combines music and balloon animals and tells stories and sings songs. And obviously children have been, watching stuff on Zoom. So the angle of these shows has been sort of more educational. So colors, numeracy, actions, making things. So we did 3 half-hour shows throughout the day on Tuesday. Cool. So that was me. I'm on sounds, musical instruments, balloon modeling, manipulating the animals, the balloon animals. So yeah, I'm on my knees for most of the show. So
wow,
you wouldn't know it's any different, but yeah,
no,
good fun. It's good fun. So yeah, little bits of rehearsals. I've had some production meetings for this week because now we've got an end date. Fingers crossed for lockdown. Yes, exactly. We might, we're talking to people about getting some shows happening, and a voice tape to do. I've got to do a voice tape for as an audition for voice self tape audio voice tape thing. There you go. God, I'm good.
All
What
the
have you been
sense it
doing?
needed to, really, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Before I talk myself completely up my own rear end, what have you been up to?
Well, so much of a similar sort of week for me. So quite a bit of voiceover work in. As I mentioned last week, was waiting on the second manuscript for from the author Andrew Dobell to do the next audiobook, and I am super excited to say that not only have I got manuscript 2, so production for that is beginning imminently, but we've had the nod from Amazon to say that the previous audiobook should now be live, or will be live in the next 24 to 48 hours. So amazing news on that one.
That is great.
So I am going to drop a whole sort of help me out, buy it, listen to it, whatever thing right now, and hopefully people might check it out. But it's called The Wasteland Road Nights. Episode 1 or Volume 1, the first book, should be available right now on Amazon audiobooks, or alternatively, books 1 to 4 in paperback and hardback, and I think on sort of Kindle and other reading apps, tablets and stuff. You can get all the first 4 on Amazon as well, the Wasteland Road Nights series, which also I happen to be on the covers of the books, would you believe?
I saw the photographs of that, your other little side stream, the modelling line, there you were, all sort of post-apocalyptic,
sort of
very beautiful young lady as well. I mean, I have to say, I looked at you and went, handsome man, beautiful lady, good book.
I mean, no, you went, oh look, there's Sam, bloody hell, look at her. That's how I imagine your reaction was. But anyway.
Along with everything else this week, you've taken mind reading classes, have you? Is that right?
But yeah, so great news there. A few other bits of voiceover work. An inquiry about a movie, which I can say absolutely nothing about at this stage, but fingers crossed that'll be some great news. But do you know what? The main thing I've been doing this week is sitting there feeling absolutely overwhelmed at the support we have had. It's been incredible, mate, hasn't it?
Because I know, because it's been brilliant. I mean, absolutely amazed, and whoever has watched us, downloaded us, thank you so much, because it's been
absolutely
brilliant.
So massively grateful for all the support. We had no idea that it would take off so quickly. I mean, just for example, the cover of the world. I mean, we've got obviously listeners in the UK, but America, France, even someone in Romania, I believe. So hello to all our worldwide followers and listeners. Thank you for joining us. And also, I have to mention that there was a mention. A couple of people said to me that we weren't showing up on Apple, I think, at one point. If you found that was an issue, it's absolutely solved now. You can find us, just search for Drewling Samantics on Apple Podcasts, or there are links in our bio on all our social media. So please do follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube as well. If you're listening to this and you're feeling, do you know what's missing? I'd really like to see them. God knows why, but you can watch this episode.
I don't know why is that. I think we're a little gift. If if it's raining outside, a bit overcast, looking at you and me on a damp Tuesday afternoon, I think would be joyous. I do. Yeah.
I mean,
really alcohol.
I'll stand behind it. Yeah.
I can't believe there's no alcohol in this. I'm talking rubbish.
But anyway, serious note, thank you so much, everyone.
Absolutely, it was brilliant. Really great.
Please do subscribe to the podcast on Apple or Spotify or any good podcast app, and find us. You can Google us. You can find us on all social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well. So please do subscribe, follow, comment,
love us,
and share. Please share with everyone. Tell everyone how amazing we are, or if you think we're shit, tell everyone that as well, and they'll still listen. So it doesn't matter. But yeah. So anyway, enough sort of singing.
I was going to say, because we both had a little bit to do with voiceover stuff this week, and I was going to say, along with all the self-tape stuff that for the audio, the visual stuff.
Yeah,
I've been asked to do a voiceover audition this week. Now, obviously, sometimes and those listening to us, watching us now that are in the business, they'll know that we do this all the time. And I've done several of those. But the one I got sent this week, and I'm not going to mention anything, and they're lovely people, and it is a beautiful script, and I do want to do it. But I got a chunky old set of sides to record.
Oh, it's a big one, is it?
It's a big one, yeah. It's. I mean, I'm really grateful. You never know; they might hear me, and I'm not going to say anything because obviously it's in pre-production, etc. But it was a biggie. It's like, whoa, this is a lot to sort of prepare.
I guess the thing, not to look at it in a lazy way, but at least if it is a chunky one and it's an audio only voiceover self-tape, at least you can have it in front of you. So
that's
as much as you do learn it to an extent, because you read it, you get the right tone, you get the right feel for it, you work out what the sentiment, what's going on, and the backstory and everything, and you do your prep and you do your research, and you really kind of get ready to deliver the best you can. But having that script sat in front of you, God, makes life a little bit easier.
I'd tell you as well, there's no guesswork with this because they've sent very good breakdowns, and we want you to do it like that. So they've sort of sent mood and style, which is really, really helpful, because sometimes, as you know full well, you get stuff and they go, we want, clear, precise, clipped voice, not too corporate, not too comical, blah. And you go, okay, you get nothing more than that, No,
I mean, and you go,
and as is always the way, you just send it out and fingers crossed. Yeah. But with this, I've got loads of info, so it's brilliant. I mean, I really am looking forward to sitting down and going, okay, I can do a good job.
This is it. I mean, there's a nice blend. It's quite often good and enjoyable when they say, right, we're going to give you some freedom, deliver the character how you feel it should be delivered. But at the same time, if you're not given anything at all, you could sometimes go a completely different direction. And that's not any fault of your own, because you are going, right, well, this is how it read to me. And you get that with any script. We're not just talking voiceover here. Any kind of audition or part, you will always give your own spin to it if there's no kind of real direct guidance.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because with audio stuff, you've got one sense. It's not like, anybody watching us now on YouTube, they'll go, oh, he looks like that, he looks like that. And, but if you're listening to anything on radio, I mean, I know I'm stating the obvious, but coming at it from an actor's point of view, you have only that one sense. People are listening to you, and then they're building a picture up. So when like giving all this information that's come with the sides, the lines, it's like, oh, great, that's the picture you want me to paint, which is really nice. It's helpful to go, and they've told me what the character could look like. So I think that's really handy, because if I know this character they describe, one of the characters as portly, you think, okay, there's a bit of weight there. So that's going to add a certain something to the voice.
Yeah.
So I can apply that. Well, that's really helpful, because sometimes you think, no idea,
And it's interesting, because I found it quite a lot. If I've read a book and then a movie of said book comes out, when you read, you develop this image in your head of what the character looks like. You see, when you're reading, you see the imagery run through your head, and you see the things happening. And quite often I'll be disappointed if I watch a movie and go, well, that's not what it looked like in my head at all. I mean, on opposite times, absolutely, they nail it. Or you get to a stage where, if it's the opposite, if you've seen a movie of something and then you read books or whatever, then you can only picture the actor you've seen doing it. Obviously, this is slightly different because you're taking away that sight again, and you're only having a voice. But even so, if you've read a story and the person you're imagining reading is very quietly spoken and very delicate, and then you listen to an audio book and the character's got a real boom, it all comes in, you're like, bloody hell, it hits you in the face, like, that's not said character at all. What's going on? So, as you say, it's invaluable to have that extra information there about the
also you mentioned about sort of like seeing, reading books and seeing the movies or whatever, but I do sometimes think to myself, I see someone who's narrated a book, who's read a book, or and you go, I don't see that voice with that book. I love the actor, whoever he she may be. I love the book, but I don't. I think that voice is going to clash with my idea of that book. So I don't think I'll listen to the audio. Do you know what I mean? Which is wrong of me,
Well,
but sometimes you just think. But then I do listen to it because I'll always go, well, I'm not be stupid, and I'm all, most of the time proved wrong because you go, that's a delightful reading, and and it brings even more. But
I guess you get that, don't you, a lot in films that regenerate. So obviously a big example would be James Bond, where the character changes, and to an extent, everyone has a Bond, don't they? Everyone has a that's
or
my
Doctor
Bond.
Who, yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There are these big things, or if you go slightly more modern, maybe Spider-Man's a good example.
Yes.
And actually, or if we're sticking comic book characters, Batman, and right now, obviously, Batman is being developed. A new Batman's coming out. Robert Pattinson is going to be, or is the new Batman.
Is the new Batman.
If you look at the progression of Batman over the last however long, he doesn't necessarily fit in the previous. Like you've gone quite broad, muscular, deep. Quite broad, muscular, deep. Like so, you've gone Bale and then Affleck, and he's quite a bit different. But that doesn't mean to say that he won't be good. I mean, I'm reserving judgment till I see the film. As you should.
Do you think that sometimes when these characters regenerate, there is a Batman, a Spider-Man, a whoever for that age? Because I mean, there was when Daniel Craig came out, they wanted to make him Butcher. They wanted to make him, there was a sea change, a complete change from the way Bond had been before.
Well, I mean, I personally, I don't know if you have. I haven't read the Bond novels.
I haven't.
No, but in theory, Daniel Craig is the most Bond-like Bond. If you go by,
I hear this.
I mean, I can't say for certain because I haven't read them, but from reading reviews and character sort of breakdowns and stuff, he is the most edgy, kind of gritty Bond. Whereas if you look at Roger Moore, for example, he was the comic Bond. Don't get me wrong, they've all got those funny lines and sort of very cliche bits, but you just have to listen to some of the sound effects and music from Roger Moore Bond films, and it's almost comic-like. It's almost silly, but that was his style. Whereas Connery was this massively sort of arrogant, I suppose is the best way, just really suave but very cocky. But that was his Bond. So
that was his way, yeah.
And I think,
I mean, I suppose it's, I do think that with those iconic characters and I mean, and interestingly, all those that we've mentioned have all been larger than life characters. They've not been, you couldn't, I don't think, could you regenerate a character that is very, very truthful? It's very, he can be different, although she can be different, whoever can be different, because there are so many different sides to them and so many different views and perceptions from those that love the characters.
Well, this is it. And it depends. You have to, I think, in a way, look at it as how it's being set out. So you mentioned Doctor Who a minute ago, which is a great example, because obviously there was a little bit of backlash when Doctor Who became female. But actually, the premise of Doctor Who, I'll be honest, I'm not a massive Doctor Who fan myself. I haven't watched a great deal of it. But as far as I'm aware, the premise is it's a shape-shifting alien. So whether it's a man, a woman, or a kettle, I mean, the point is, I mean, a kettle might not have quite the acting depth that our greats that have played the parts before have. But do you know what I'm saying? It seems almost silly to judge and go, oh, well, Doctor Who's a man. No, Doctor Who is an alien. So could be anything, really. If you're doing something historical and you need it to be accurate, then obviously you have a reason to meet those certain requirements. But I think you have so much scope to do things, even in the character of James Bond, as we've just described, 3 or 4. In fact, how many have there been? 6 Bonds, 7 Bonds? Depends if you count but either way, just within that one character, there have been so many different routes of going about it and different ways of taking it on, none of which you can say are wrong. You can have your favorites, but at no point have they gone, right, we are making this to be exactly like the book. This is a representation of the book. This is based on a book. But unless you are going, right, it is accurate to the point, historically, geographically, whatever, then at that point you can't really judge and go, well, that's not blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do. Yeah, I mean, it's and I mean, the lovely thing is, the character, the material is so interesting that they've been able to take it so many different ways and give so many generations and keep the franchise going, which is, at the end of the day, if you're not going to have interesting actors, your franchise is going to die in the water, isn't it? You know, I mean, all those actors playing all the parts that we mentioned, all the roles, they've all been really interesting people. There's you know, even when there's been a duff one, and there's been duff, you could say, you know, some people have gone, never watching James Bond again, never watching, you know, Batman. No, I'm not interested in Doctor Who because of that. But then people will always come back. That's the clever bit, you know. But
exactly, and if you on that similar sort of thing, if you look at Batman and you look at the Joker as a villain in the Batman films, I mean, Heath Ledger posthumously won the Oscar for that role. Yeah. But then I believe Jack Nicholson as well won. Did he win an Oscar for it, or I can't remember? But either way, it's genius. His performance was renowned for being one of the best performances of all time. And then Heath Ledger as well. 2 very different deliveries of it, the same character, but within the comic book realm, you could do so much with it again.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's because it is a make-believe realm. It is, you know, and I mean, I'm a huge, massive Lord of the Rings fan. Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. I mean, I read the book when I was very young, and loved it. Read Lord of the Rings one summer, fell in love with it. And then when the movies came out, I was not so much The Hobbit, but Lord of the Rings came out. I just love them. I mean, I can turn them on now if I and just binge watch all 3, whack it, you know, right the way through the day.
Director's cut, you know, 11 hours.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Commentary running, mate, the lot. I'm there, you know. I am. I mean, many would say that I am probably a Hobbit. You know, I mean, see, I'm just saying it before you do, Sam. But no, I mean, I love those, you know, and those, you know, I don't suppose you can go wrong. But taking it right back to where we kind of started in this, you know, that's, you know, the voiceover stuff, and certainly things that, I mean, I've been given a really good brief, a really good tight brief to come from, and this is and it's a new piece of work, and they're hopefully going to do several series.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, you think, well, I'm in at the bottom line here. I could create something that is new. It's, you know, it's an original, which is really kind of, you know, and then it may have many, you know, incarnations after that. Fingers crossed, and I'm involved. But yeah, it's to get that springboard.
An exciting kind of brand new project.
It is great. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Getting back to, you know, where we kind of came in. What have you been doing voiceover wise this week? Are you able to say?
So as I said, obviously the new manuscript's coming for book number 2. So reading through that, setting that up, because I do the entire thing with various different characters. So working out how new characters are going to be delivered, or picking up on previous characters, and as bad as it sounds, listening back to myself in the previous audio, but to make sure that I'm delivering them the same way, so there's continuity throughout. I've done a bit of advertising work this week in voiceover, which for a company who I mentioned before, I'm able to work for remotely. So positives there. I was actually going to ask, because you made a point last week about saying that you were out looking for, you were looking for a new microphone upgrade, and discovered that the world and his dog has bought them all.
During the summer last year, when it was like, okay, I've got to upgrade, I've got to get remote and online because I can't go out. It became a nightmare.
Well, do you know, so this, I found this really interesting, because you and I have been doing voiceover for a long time, so we're lucky enough to already have some contacts in the business, or we've already got ongoing contracts or connections in that sense, that where we've already got some work, so we don't necessarily need to start afresh. But a lot of people have come into voiceover. We've all been isolated, or we've all been stuck at home, not able to do quite so much of our regular work. So I think a lot of people have, and I hate this phrase because it's not really appropriate, but jumped on the bandwagon, got involved in a voiceover, because it is something that you can do remotely, more so than you can perform on a stage, obviously, or do theatre or film or whatever. Voiceover just requires you to be able to record your voice, and then it can go to somewhere else.
I also think from that, sorry to interrupt you, mate, but I also think that, more people were out of necessity going, what can I do? How can I work? They, so the voiceover, but I also think that companies, products, whatever, were going, okay, well, we can't make a television product, and everybody is working online. So a lot of advertising went online. A lot of people went, we're going to put, advertising on television, on radio. So I saw an awful lot of stuff that was produced, in audio form, radio, whatever, because, a production company couldn't get in a studio and make a new advert, and you can't. So there was almost a greater demand for actors and voiceover
Absolutely.
artists.
I agree, demand has gone up. Whether demand has gone up at the same rate as people trying to meet that demand, not so sure. I think
not so sure.
I think it without a shadow of doubt, it's got a lot more competitive doing voiceover work, because people have gone, right, I've got to make ends meet. I've got to find a way of making some money. This is what I'm good at. How can I utilize that? And voiceover is, I would say, it's very easy to get to a point where you could deliver something. The difficult bit is standing out from the crowd, or going from the I can do this to someone's paying me to do this. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I think it's there are so many different markets out there, and I mean, the games market is huge, and video games market for voices and that. And I just think, for me, I do certain things well, and regularly for people that I've gone, okay, maybe now expanding on that and push the number of people I work for, but I think it's tricky. But also I've noticed the number of now I couldn't get a microphone for love nor money last summer, and I think I said last time out, now I look on the Gumtrees and the eBays and Marketplace on Facebook and stuff, and they're like, whoa, everybody's selling microphones. That's where they all are. I think get them left, right, and centre now.
I do wonder whether there was a small element of lots of people jumping in and going, right, I'm going to attempt to do this, and then perhaps to an extent finding that either A, it's not necessarily for them, or B, that they're not getting the call for it as much as it's not justifying.
It's not justifying the expense and the effort in some cases, and I, that's absolutely fair. I've tried a couple of things and gone, nope, in the past and whatever. I've gone, no, that's not for me. I'm not going to, so you don't do it, and there's nothing wrong with experimenting, but it's like everything else we're in this business. Sometimes you have to go, that isn't for me. I'm not going to be able to do that. Can't do it well. And there's nothing worse than trying to do something if you're doing it badly, So
no, exactly.
But I heard an interesting phrase this week. I've got to say this. This is apropos of nothing. I never heard of. I know. I mean, and this is probably showing my ignorance, and I know it's an Americanism, but I'd never heard of a chemistry read. Ever heard that?
A chemistry read.
Now, when you and I Google. And I looked it up in a chemistry read, and there'd be a lot of people sitting out there going, come on, Drew, it's this, but I never heard of it. And it's when you get, you do an audition, you get a recall, or as it said in the information I read, a callback. So okay, that's probably, but it's when you get the actors in to read to see if there's any chemistry between them. And I thought, well, that's now is obvious, but I just never heard the phrase before. So, you know, there you go.
Oh, interesting. I mean, it's not something unfamiliar. I mean,
No.
I've just never heard it have a specific name. If that
Me either. I thought that's quite nice, you know, but I thought at first, well, is this something that, you know, you go into a pharmacy or something? But no, it's interesting. So that's been very facetious. But no, I was interested that there is actually a name for that process.
Wow.
You know.
Well, there we go.
In this country is, come and have a coffee, darling, and see if you get on with John, you know. Lovely boy. We'll go out for lunch and a couple of gins, and they gelled beautifully.
Yes, we're basically gonna see if you hate each other, and if not, then we're gonna crack right on.
Yeah, exactly. Right, boom.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's a very interesting point. That there's a lot of people now competing in the voiceover market out there. A lot of very, very talented people who, because of the volumes of work not quite meeting the volumes of performers, I mean, I guess that happens in our industry
across the board.
But I think voiceover, certainly because of our unwelcome guest, has suddenly become a very popular, and I'm not going to say easy. It's not an easy job in any stretch of the imagination. As we've said, you are relying on just your voice. So to convey character and emotion and everything else with your voice isn't as straightforward as if you can gesture and they can cry and laugh and whatever. But it is a much easier option right now with what is open and what we're able to do within constraints and rules for health and safety. Definitely. So I think that's why we've seen a big surge. I think we will continue to see, as you've said, a lot of stuff that is not as traditional as previously. So maybe there will be a lot more audible stuff on TV when it comes to adverts. Like the imagery doesn't necessarily feature people interacting. It could be a lot more voiceover adverts with just products on screen. We've also seen quite a lot of utilizing Zoom and home recordings within adverts. So people are either recording stuff themselves, or it's made to look like they've recorded it themselves at home or whatever, because that's what people are familiar with right now. I mean, even what we're doing now, being on a video call, doing this podcast, this is the kind of thing that we would do normally sat in a pub.
Exactly.
And the difference is we've added a microphone and added a camera, and we're not actually near each other.
No, which is brilliant. Fantastic. I mean, I think a lot.
I'm glad you're so happy we're not near each other.
Oh dear. Just no. I mean, it's brilliant that we can do this. I mean, I think it's for me. The idea of being able to experiment with different mediums, I think it's made me a little bit more tech savvy. It's made me a little bit more marketing savvy. You've got to go out there and I've got to promote myself and I've got to make sure I've got the best tools. I think it's being forced into a corner by the unwelcome guest has actually made a lot of people quite sharp, and I know it's made me go, ooh, think about that.
I think we're all working hard, and not that we weren't before, but I think this has really kind of opened a lot of people's eyes and gone, right, we're now limiting what you can do. You're going to have to really, really work.
You're really going to have to be good at this.
And I think that the majority of the performance industry has gone, right, challenge accepted. Here we go. And I think it's lovely. Yeah. So, and what a lovely sentiment to end on, don't you think?
Well, what a beautiful
the acting industry and the performance industry, we are surging. No matter what our unwelcome guest tries to prevent us from doing, we will find ways around it, legal and safe ways around it. And we will continue. So so positives in the negatives, definitely.
Positives in its way, yes.
But,
and as you said, I mean, this is our second surge, as it were. So please, everyone, please keep downloading us, sharing us, listening to us.
Absolutely. And, people all across the world listening, thank you so much.
We are so grateful.
Please do continue to listen. make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite app, Apple or Spotify or whatever, and then you'll get notified every time a new episode comes out. Yeah. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well, and you can see our lovely faces. The only time we'll ever make an effort, normally sat working in pants on a laptop. And indeed follow us and join us on all our social medias as well, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. We are absolutely so just overwhelmed with your support thus far. So please keep it going. Please share us to all your friends, family.
Thank you. Yes.
If you don't like us, share us to your enemies. We don't care.
We don't care.
But Drew, as always, mate. Just wonderful to chat.
The joy.
Well done on another prosperous week. Let's hope next time we speak, it's even more so.
It can only get better.
It can, mate.
It can only get better.
Keep on doing what you're doing, and thank you everyone for listening, Drew.
Yeah.
Soon, mate.
Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Take care.
See you soon. Bye, mate.
Thanks again for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode of Drewling Samantics.
If you have, then please consider subscribing, and you'll get notified every time a new episode is released. The podcast is available on all good platforms or directly through our RSS feed. Just check the podcast details.
You can also find us on all popular social media, and you can even watch us on YouTube, although why you'd want to look at Drew's face is a mystery to me. Again, all our social media links and handles are in the podcast details.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so please share with your family and friends, and we'll be eternally grateful. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.